Welcome back to the Loveland Report and Loan Arranger Show. This is our final segment. Thanks for tuning in to see what's going on in real estate and mortgages for 2026. We went over some listings. I talked about negotiating offers as a seller. I want to dive into negotiating offers as a buyer, Bruce.
Let's do that.
And I really, this is what makes things great. I mean, sellers are a little more flexible now. They need to be because there are not as many buyers wandering around out there. But main thing is knowing their numbers. And I make my agents, when they write an offer, some agents don't even understand. You send in a full price offer and ask for 3% in cost. They don't, and let's say it's a $400,000 home. They don't know how to explain to the seller that's $388 to you. Yeah. And they literally don't know how to do that. So I literally have my agents do that math for them on a cover sheet and talk about my buyer, send along your fast track letter saying the loan is guaranteed to close. But the best thing to do as a buyer is you don't want to insult and say, well, let's just try it and go in 50,000 below list price. Homes don't sell 50,000 below list price unless they're listed for $1.1 million.
Right.
And it just doesn't happen.
Then you can do it.
Yeah, then you could. But knowing what the comps look like, and like I've got one right now we're dealing with, the agent house has been the same price for 2 months, been on the market for 6 months. They haven't adjusted the price in 2 months. We sent them nearly a full price offer, asked for some costs, and they crossed off the cost and came back like at full price. Literally didn't budge an inch. And I'm trying to get a hold of the agent to talk to them about, what are you thinking? Is this the difficult seller? Are you not understanding? And also I said, hey, I don't know how we're going to appraise. What comps did you use to price this property? Because I don't see any sales close to this sales price. They're all about 20,000 less. And the property's about the same as these other ones. So all these things come into play when you're negotiating as a buyer. But the main thing is, don't ask for too much. Ask for a little bit more than what you need or expect.
Sure.
And then when you negotiate, give a little, come back saying, all right, I don't need 5% in cost. Just give me 4%.
Well, there's a couple of things that I always encourage the buyers to do, because first of all, I don't think that many real estate agents know how to negotiate like you do. I just don't think they do. There's a few that I find are good negotiators, but I don't think most of them have the skills. And I don't think that clients understand that, because they pick a realtor that they like, or that their boss referred them to, or the neighbor, or they maybe they even went to a yard sign and called them. You don't know how good of a negotiator that real estate agent is. I know how good you are. I know what you do to fight for your clients. But if you come to the table with a fully approved loan that's guaranteed to close, or the seller gets paid up to $500 a day, do you think that moves the needle with the seller? Yeah. Do you think that gives them a little bit more safety and security if I come to the table and I go, hey, Cleve, I got a buyer. They're looking at your listing over on 123 47th Street that you've got on the market for $400,000. I just want you to know my buyer is fully approved. They've already been through underwriting, and I'll guarantee you I'll close in 21 days or less, or I will literally pay your seller up to $500 a day for every day we miss the closing. Would you convey that to your seller, please? Now, does that give you a little bit more strength? Would that make you and the seller feel more comfortable? Why don't more buyers do that? And why don't lenders pick up the phone and call the listing agent and fight for the client? I fight for every one of my clients, and I fight for them because they deserve it. Because and oftentimes, Cleve, I'm watching them, and if they don't have an agent like you, I'm going, oh my God, this agent's leaving money for this buyer on the table, and I can't say anything because they picked them because it's their mother's
sister's cousin,
whatever. Okay. And I can't say a doggone thing, but I'm going, oh my God, they're leaving so much money on the table here. So don't do that. Call me. We will get things together. Cleve will negotiate it for you. I guarantee he'll fight for you. Call the Loan Arranger at 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. It is the middle of January. We're halfway through the first month. Business is up about 50% on purchase transactions. I'm seeing a lot of investors jump in the market, a few more first-time home buyers jump in the market. I'm seeing more move-up buyers willing to let go of the property. And I'm also seeing out-of-state buyers wanting to move here. A lot more buyers wanting to move. Now, I don't know if it's because it's freezing ass cold up there or not, but I'd want to get out of there as well. But I'm seeing more Northerners like, I'm done. I want to move to Florida. What are you seeing?
Well, our growth, I see more people coming from other parts of Florida to Central Florida. When you sell your house, about 75% chance can be another Central Floridian.
Right.
And then the other 20%, probably another Floridian.
Yes.
Coming from another Jacksonville, Tampa, South Florida. wherever it might be. But I see the out-of-stater contracts 1 out of 100, 2 out of 100 maybe. And what's funny is I've had sellers ask me, say, hey, that bad election they had in New York with that communist, we should raise our prices. Are you advertising in New York?
It's not going to happen.
First of all, when you're on the internet, you're advertised all over the world. So I do that with all my listings. Of course, I have a great marketing plan. But I've tried target marketing in New York, Bruce. You know what happens when those New Yorkers do come down?
Yeah.
They still look at all the other houses like yours for sale.
Sure
and they still look at the market and go, why is that guy 50,000 higher? They're not going to overpay you for it.
No, of course they're not.
So it doesn't change our market that much. And that's
Nobody overpays. And what you have to understand, if you're asking too much for your house, you're only delaying the inevitable, which the appraisal is not going to come in anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So once the appraisal doesn't come in, then what are you going to do?
Yep.
Are you going to argue? Or you got one of those real estate agents that goes, that's a crappy appraiser. And then we look at it and we go, I don't know. The comps are all like right there. They're right in your neighborhood or right next to you.
Yep.
They seem to be decent comps. That is an inexperienced agent that didn't explain it properly to their client. You agree with that?
Yeah, no, it's definitely where you've got to have the right person representing you. It's the biggest, besides having a baby, what else do you do that's this big, Bruce?
I don't know.
Buying a business. I mean, but the home purchase is the biggest, most important transaction that people do. And it just amazes me when I can't get a hold of another agent and they answer the phone. It sounds like they're checking out at Walgreens and they're going, well, I'm at my other job. I'm running the register.
Sure.
And I'm like, that's why I haven't got an answer on an offer for 2 days. That's just unprofessional. So you want the right representation. You want a professional helping you with your real estate plan. Call me at 407-352-8118 or go to cleveloveland.com.
Yeah. But that's a great number for you to save in your phone, or you can call the loan arranger, Bruce Woodburn, Cross Country Mortgage, 35 years in the mortgage business. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you win. My job is to help you win. And that's what I'm going to do. 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. Maybe you need to refinance. Maybe you need debt consolidation because you spent too much money over the holidays. Maybe you need a home equity line of credit. My home equity line of credit takes 5 minutes to apply for, and you can close in 5 days. Unbelievable. Fixed rate, adjustable rate, 30-year, 5-year, 10-year, you name it. I got it. Reverse mortgages. Got great reverse mortgages. Construction loans, build on your own lot, or we'll go out and find a lot for you and you can build on it. Renovation loans. I'm doing a HUD renovation loan on a 203K right now. You can buy a HUD home with $100 down.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes. So if HUD already owns the listing, they foreclose.
I don't see too many of those. There's hardly any foreclosures.
There's not that many, but there's a few right now, and I'm doing one.
But let's back up. I want your renovation loan.
Yes.
I've got a house. It's got avocado green bathroom.
Yep.
But it's a great neighborhood in Maitland or Winter Park.
Yep.
And it needs a renovation and it needs a kitchen cabinets and it needs flooring. We can get that bid and that 30 grand could be cut to that vendor at closing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, or what we can do is we can build it in and you can have a contractor and you can have somebody that puts the kitchens and the bathrooms and the new flooring and the new roof. I can add all that to it. If you buy a home that's in the area that you want and you like
after the closing.
I close on it. I take the seller doesn't have to worry about any of that. You just get the bids in to me, and then I add that into your loan amount and you finance it in. It's that easy.
Yep.
It's and I can do that on conventional, FHA,
little simpler than a 203K.
Well, 203K is just the FHA's version of a renovation loan. Right. There are some things that are simpler on a 203K than they are on a traditional conventional reno, and there's things that are more complicated. They all have their pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
So in this particular case, I've got a house with an ADU on an accessory dwelling unit on it, and HUD owns the property. I can do a loan for somebody on that. But if it was conventional, it might have to be attached to it too.
Yeah.
Or if it's rebuilt, it has to be attached.
Okay.
So we look at all these different things.
Well, you do have the products, and it's funny because I have lenders call me, I've got lots of products. I'd like to meet with you. And then I ask them a couple of questions on the phone about, do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have DSCR? Oh, no. I'm like, all right, you need to call Bruce for a job.
I have everything from hard money to first-time home buyer programs and everything in between. And I don't broker. Everything is done in-house.
Real quick, Bruce, last part of the show here. I want to talk about 1031 exchanges.
Let's do it.
This is a vehicle people use. You've owned a property for a long time, an investment property. And let's say you bought it for $100,000 25 years ago.
Yes.
And it's worn out, you want to retire to the beach at a condo, or you want to retire to the mountains of North Carolina, and it's time to cash this in, or maybe you want to get another better rental property, you do what's called a 1031 exchange. So like if you sold this property for 350,000, you might owe 60, 70 grand in taxes. Depends on how much you've written off, all these things. You can roll that gain into another property, kind of kick the can down the road. Now I have owners do this.
As long as it's not owner occupied.
Yes. And so, but I've had people do this where they buy their forever home. Like I've got a couple downsizing right now. We're selling some of their duplexes. They're going to buy their forever home, rent it for a year or so, then move into it, homestead it, and eliminate those capital gains. Because I got a gentleman, he's owned this since the 90s, and he bought these properties for like 50,000. He's gonna have a big capital gain.
Well, 1031 resets depreciation and everything on it too. There's some great advantages.
Yeah, I've got some owners that we've used the 1031 because they bought the properties for very little amount. They're not getting, and they've been depreciated. They've owned them for more than 25 years. 27 years is the residential depreciation, and so they're not even getting a big tax break on it. So we reset that, all those numbers. But I always, when I meet with people, I go over this with them, and I'm like, all right, you got some numbers. Call your CPA, call your financial planner, run this past them. I'm part of a plan. But I want what's best for them. This is why I have a lot of people I work with, Bruce, 6 months or a year before they even do anything.
You know what? Some people just take a little bit longer to make a decision, or they may have more things going on.
Well, it's not the right time.
It's they just have things going on. It's like if a client calls me to get a mortgage and then I try to call them back and they don't return my calls, I don't take it personally. There may be something going on in your life that you just didn't return my call. Now, you shouldn't do that to the loan arranger, because I'm very impatient about things like that. So if you call me and I call you back, just return my call. Please do me a favor like that. I have anxiety about that. So don't do that to me. 407-250-9144. My name is Bruce Woodburn. I'm the loan arranger. I've been in the mortgage business for 35 years. I've helped over 10,000 people. I'm one of the top producers in the entire country. I don't tell you that to brag. I'm telling you that because a lot of people have gone before you, and I get a lot of repeat customers, a lot. So I want you to be so happy with the service level and the rates and terms that I give you, that you are just feeling compelled. Like a lot of my clients are saying, Bruce, I send everybody I know over to you. Why do they do that? Because I take care of them. And you know what? I don't think a lot of people in business these days take that seriously enough. Take good care of your clients. Go bend over backwards. Always do the right thing, and you'll get people coming back.
Makes work a lot more fun. So got some stats here, Bruce, on multi-generational homes. This is something growing.
More of it. Like Artisan has some of those.
The builders have this, where they've got an extra kitchenette and an extra living area and bedroom for parents, or maybe the failure to launch. I don't like that part. If you got a failure to launch, best thing you do is sign them up for the Army. Take them down to the recruiting office. Children over the age of 18, 27% of people bought that because they had children over the age of 18 moving back home.
Yeah.
That's they need to kick those suckers out on the street. I was out at 17. As soon as I graduated. But the cost savings of doing that for some people, especially taking care of parents, because sometimes they don't need assisted living, which can be $5,000 a month. And even the fancy apartment complexes that are 55 and over are $3,000 a month. This offers something there, and most builders have that. I've had people call me looking for the guest home, like they want to live in the guest home, and their kids with the growing family are going to live in the big house. So I thought that was interesting about that. And then, but the median time in people in their homes before they sell, from this recent survey, 11 years. That's the longest in a long time. Usually that's about 7 or 8 years. And that's because of the interest rates and the Bidenomics we had going on there with Sleepy Joe. So I thought that was interesting. And most people, 50% of them moving to get a bigger home, 30% moving. It's going to be 50% purchase because they want a newer home, 30% purchase because they want a larger home. All right.
You know, we can get those multi-generational homes at Hardison Homes, who has single family residents in the $400,000 to $500,000 price point, and you can have two families live in the home, brand new construction, and they'll pay your closing costs. Call Cleve Loveland at 407-352-8118, or call Bruce Woodburn, the loan arranger, at 407-250-9144, or go to WeBringYouHome.com. God bless.
Happy New Year.
Tune in tomorrow, 11 o'clock for the Loan Arranger Show on WDBO. We'll see you then.